I remember the day everything began to fall apart. It was a Monday, quiet, cloudy, and deceptively normal. The kind of day when you walk into the office thinking nothing could possibly go wrong. The automatic doors at Helios Innovations slid open, and the faint smell of espresso and ambition filled the air. We were the kind of company that promised the world a brighter tomorrow through code. Behind the marketing gloss, though, was a jungle, a sleek battlefield of smiling faces and hidden daggers. I'd been with Helios for almost 4 years. I started as a junior developer, writing back-end scripts while drinking too much black coffee and believing hard work could outshine politics. And for a while, it did. My manager, Ethan Blake, had taken notice. He was tall, smooth-talking, always in that perfectly ironed white shirt. He said things like, "Ava, you're the backbone of this project, and you're going places." I believed him. Helios was preparing to launch a revolutionary AI product, Orion, a predictive data system that could forecast consumer behavior with eerie precision. I'd poured every ounce of creativity and logic into Orion's architecture. Late nights, empty takeout boxes, eyes burning under the glow of my monitor. I gave it everything. And then, 3 weeks before the official product unveiling, the betrayal came. The morning it happened, I was in the glass meeting room going through test reports when HR sent a message. "Ava, could you stop by my office at 10 a.m.? It's about the Orion project." I thought it was about my pending promotion. Ethan had promised me a lead engineer role. I even told my mom that weekend that I might finally get the recognition I'd worked for. When I entered HR, though, the air felt heavy. My hands instinctively tightened around the strap of my laptop bag. Inside sat Caroline, our HR head, and Ethan. Neither of them smiled. "Ava," Caroline began softly, "we've received a report regarding unauthorized access to company data. Your credentials were used to download proprietary Orion source files outside of work hours." I froze. "What? That's impossible." Ethan looked away, his jaw tightened. "I didn't." She slid a printed sheet across the table. System logs showing my name, my ID, and timestamps at 1:23 a.m. and 1:25 a.m. 2 nights ago. It didn't make sense. I was asleep at that time. Someone must have. Caroline interrupted. "Ava, we have to take this seriously. For now, we're suspending your access while we conduct an internal review." Ethan finally spoke, voice low and apologetic. "I'm sorry, Ava, this is standard procedure. Let's clear this up soon, okay?" But there was something in his eyes, something that told me this wasn't an accident. That afternoon, I sat in my car, staring at the reflection in the windshield. My badge didn't work anymore. My access to the server was revoked. I'd gone from leading the AI team to being locked out in a single morning. By Friday, the company announced Orion's final development phase would be handled by Ethan and a new lead developer named Sophie. My jaw clenched. Sophie. She was the new hire I had trained 3 months earlier, a polished, confident woman who laughed a little too loudly and asked too many questions about my code. Then the headline hit the following week. Helios Innovations unveils Orion, a game-changing AI led by Ethan Blake. My name was nowhere in it. They stole my work, my dream, my future. And as I sat in my tiny apartment, lit only by the soft hum of my computer, something dark began to awaken inside me. Not rage. Not grief. Something colder. A plan. For the next few days, I replayed everything in my mind, every word Ethan said, every smile Sophie gave. The pieces fell together like poisoned glass. Ethan wanted credit, Sophie wanted power, and both found their pawn in me. But they forgot who built the system. Orion wasn't just code. It was my mind woven into algorithms, lines only I understood. And somewhere in those millions of data pathways, I left traces. Invisible fingerprints, hidden functions. Things no one would ever see, unless I wanted them to. I pulled out my old laptop, the one I used before joining Helios. Offline, secure, and untouched by company firewalls. For hours, I scrolled through encrypted backups and found what I needed. The mirror protocol I had written during Orion's first prototype stage. It could connect remotely to the AI framework without triggering alerts, something I'd built for debugging. They thought they owned Orion. They were wrong. 2 weeks later, I watched the live stream of Helios' big product launch. Ethan stood center stage in his spotless gray suit, all charm and confidence. Sophie was beside him, radiant under the spotlights. "Ladies and gentlemen," Ethan said, "Orion is the future, and we at Helios are proud to lead this innovation." The audience clapped, cameras flashed, investors smiled. And then, I executed the mirror protocol. At first, nothing happened. Then the presentation screen flickered. The demo dashboard, meant to display predictive analytics, began showing something else entirely: internal company emails. Ethan's messages to Sophie, HR logs, my termination notice. And then, something worse. Private chat messages appeared. "We'll blame her. No one will suspect. She's too naive to fight back. Once we're done, she's gone." The room went silent. The audience gasped. Ethan's face drained of color. Sophie's smile broke. The livestream cut off. I sat in my apartment, heart racing, eyes wet, not from sadness but justice. That night, every major tech blog ran the same story. Helios data leak, internal conspiracy exposed during live launch. Ethan was suspended. Sophie disappeared from social media. I didn't say a word, because karma had only just begun. After the launch day chaos, Helios Innovations went from Silicon Valley's golden child to a scandal-ridden mess overnight. The news called it the most embarrassing corporate leak in tech history. But the irony was delicious. The system that made them rich became the weapon that destroyed them. For the first time in months, I slept soundly. But karma wasn't done with Helios. Not yet. 3 days after the launch disaster, I received an anonymous email. The subject line, "I know what you did and I want in." My pulse skipped. Inside was a single sentence. "Meet me at the Blue Parlor Cafe, Tuesday, 2 p.m. Come alone." I thought about deleting it, but curiosity won. The Blue Parlor was a quiet spot downtown, the kind of place where tired programmers and startup dreamers drown their burnout in cold brew and cheap pastries. I sat by the window, nerves humming. At exactly 2:03, someone slid into the seat across from me. It was Jordan Hayes, a systems analyst from Helios. Tall, calm, mid-30s, with eyes that looked like they'd seen too much. He leaned in. "You don't have to play innocent. I know you exposed them." I froze. "I don't know what you're talking about." He smiled faintly. "You left traces. Not many people could, but I saw the fingerprints in the source logs. Your mirror protocol, it's genius." My heart raced. "And what do you want?" "I want in," he said simply. "Ethan and Sophie weren't the only snakes in that building. You think their betrayal stopped with you. The rot goes all the way up." He was right. Helios had been cutting corners, manipulating user data, and selling predictive analytics to private firms without consent. Ethan and Sophie weren't the masterminds, just the useful pawns. Jordan leaned back. "You exposed a piece of the truth, Ava, but if you want real justice, we burn it all." Over the next week, Jordan and I worked in silence. I hadn't trusted anyone since my firing, but there was something raw and steady about him. He wasn't doing this for fame or money. He wanted the truth to be free. He found what we needed buried deep within the company's network, a hidden server labeled Project Lyra. It was worse than I imagined. Helios had been gathering millions of user profiles without permission, using Orion's AI to predict and manipulate people's decisions. Votes, purchases, relationships, lives. The system I created to help people was being twisted into control. That's when I realized my revenge wasn't just about Ethan and Sophie anymore. This was about redemption. The board of directors scrambled to recover after the leak. Helios, CEO Margaret Steele, appeared on television with her carefully composed smile. "We are investigating the incident and assure our partners that Helios remains committed to transparency." I laughed bitterly from my apartment. Transparency? What a lie. Meanwhile, Ethan tried to play the victim. He claimed on LinkedIn that he'd been betrayed by malicious actors within the company. Sophie deleted her online accounts and moved out of state, or so rumors said. But Karma had other plans. Late one night, Jordan sent me a message. "You should see this." He attached an audio file. It was Ethan's voice. "She's gone. The code's ours now. By the time anyone figures it out, Helios will own half the market. Margaret promised me VP if we pull this off." Margaret, the CEO herself, was in it. The betrayal went higher than I thought. Jordan and I decided to release the truth, not just to the press, but to the people. Using Lyra's access, we uploaded every hidden document, transaction log, and internal recording onto a public ledger that couldn't be erased. We didn't just leak files, we created a digital mirror of Helios corruption. And to ensure authenticity, we embedded Orion's predictive algorithm itself, modified to flag every manipulation pattern Helios ever used. Within hours, the tech world erupted. Helios used AI to influence consumer behavior. Massive privacy violation scandal. CEO Margaret Steele under federal investigation. The company's stock collapsed overnight. Employees fled. Investors demanded refunds. Ethan tried to deny everything, but videos of his voice surfaced on every platform. Sophie's name appeared in the logs, showing how she had framed me. And for the first time, my name appeared in the news too. Not as a thief, but as a whistleblower. But revenge doesn't come without scars. 3 days later, I woke up to find my apartment door unlocked. My files had been searched, my phone tapped. Jordan texted me from an unknown number. "They're trying to cover their tracks. Stay low." By then, Margaret had gone silent. Rumor said she fled to Europe before federal agents could reach her. Ethan's career was over. Sophie's silence became permanent. Some said she'd been blacklisted from every tech firm in California. As for Jordan, he disappeared too. One night, his messages stopped coming. I called, no answer. Then one morning, I got a brown envelope under my door. Inside was a USB stick. No note, no name. When I plugged it in, a single video file appeared. Jordan, looking tired but calm. "Ava, if you're seeing this, they found me. Don't worry, I made sure Lyra's data is safe. What we did, it mattered. Don't stop now." The video ended. I sat there for a long time, tears running silently down my face. The room was quiet, except for the faint hum of my computer. The same sound that once haunted me now felt like a heartbeat of justice. 2 months later, Helios Innovations was officially dissolved. Margaret Steele was indicted. Ethan Blake was banned from the tech industry and publicly humiliated. Sophie filed for bankruptcy. Each of them fell in their own way, slowly, painfully, karmically. And yet, part of me still carried the weight. Revenge had brought justice, yes, but it also changed me. I no longer dreamed of building perfect systems. Now I dreamed of truth, raw, unfiltered, and untamed. I founded my own startup 6 months later, a nonprofit AI ethics lab called the Lyra Project, in honor of what was lost and found. Our mission, transparency through technology. Sometimes I'd get messages from strangers, people who said my story inspired them to fight corporate corruption. Others simply thanked me for proving that even in the darkest systems, truth can find its way through. But late at night, when the city lights flicker against the glass and I see my reflection in the screen, I wonder, did I win? Or did karma just choose me as its messenger? 6 months had passed since Helios collapsed. The dust had settled, or so I thought. The Lyra Project was thriving. We had a small team, honest investors, and a mission that felt pure. We built tools to track corporate manipulation and expose AI bias. People began to see me not as a victim, but as a reformer, the woman who brought a giant to its knees. But fame comes with shadows. One morning, I received an invitation in the mail cream envelope, embossed with gold. No return address. Inside was a single line, written in elegant script. Truth has its price, dinner, M. No one called me Ava Carter anymore. My address was private. Whoever sent this knew more than they should. M. It had to be Margaret Steele. I thought she was gone, hiding in Europe after her indictment. Apparently, I was wrong. The restaurant was upscale, marble floors, low light, classical music, the kind of place where power never really dies. When I arrived, Margaret was already there. She looked older, tired, but her posture was the same, regal, composed. "Ava," she said softly, swirling her wine. "I wondered if you'd come." I sat down across from her. "What do you want?" She smiled faintly. "To congratulate you. You did what no one else could. You destroyed Helios." Her words dripped with a kind of admiration that made my stomach turn. "You built something new from the ashes. Lyra Project, clever name." I stared at her. "You sound like you're proud of me." "Oh, I am," she said. "You finished what I started." I frowned. "Started?" Margaret leaned forward. "Did you really think I didn't see what Ethan and Sophie were doing? They thought they were playing me, but I let them run free because I needed someone to burn the house down." My breath caught. "You wanted Helios destroyed." She nodded slowly. "The company was corrupted beyond saving. I needed an inside fire, someone righteous, brilliant, and underestimated. And then you appeared, the perfect spark." I felt cold all over. "You used me." She smiled. "Karma needed a vessel. You were it." I wanted to stand up, scream, leave, but something in her eyes held me still. "Why tell me this now?" I asked. "Because I'm dying," she said simply, "and because I don't want you to make the same mistake." She handed me a small drive. "This contains the remaining files, things Jordan never found. Project Lyra wasn't just data manipulation. It was built to predict human morality, to decide who deserves what. You stopped it halfway, but now others are trying to finish it." I took the drive carefully. "Who?" She looked out the window. "One of your own investors." My blood ran cold. Margaret stood. "You burned me, Ava, but in the end, you'll learn fire doesn't choose what it consumes." Then she walked away, leaving the half-empty glass of wine behind. That night, I stayed in my office long after everyone left. The rain hit the windows like static. I plugged in the drive. Inside were dozens of encrypted folders labeled with dates, accounts, and one name I recognized: Ryan Dorsey. Ryan was one of our biggest donors at Lyra. Charming, generous, and supposedly ethical. He'd helped us build our new platform. But buried in the files was proof that Ryan was quietly funneling data from Lyra's AI systems, the same way Helios once did. He wasn't supporting my mission. He was rebuilding the same corruption under my name. I stared at the code on my screen, feeling the old rage rise again, the same rage that once burned Helios to the ground. History was repeating itself. At 3:14 a.m., my computer beeped. A message appeared on the screen. "He's behind it, don't let them win. J. Jordan." I froze. His message came from an encrypted channel, the same one we used during the Helios leak. He was alive, somewhere, watching. I typed quickly. "Jordan, where are you?" No reply. Only a single file upload, a recorded call between Ryan Dorsey and a board member. "She's brilliant but naive," Ryan's voice said. "We'll let her think she's running Lyra. By next quarter, we'll have full access to the predictive system. Morality tracking will be market-ready." The same words, the same poison. My hands trembled. I'd become the very thing I swore to destroy. The next morning, I walked into the Lyra boardroom with the same quiet calm I once had the day I was fired from Helios. History always circles back. Ryan smiled when he saw me. "Ava, early as always." I smiled back. Couldn't sleep, too much on my mind. I connected my laptop to the main screen. A familiar interface appeared, Lyra's system, glowing softly. "Let's talk about transparency," I said, echoing Margaret's old words. "It's what we built this company on, right?" He nodded, cautious. "Of course." I clicked a key. The screen changed. Audio files, documents, recordings. Every piece of evidence I had about Ryan's secret data transfers filled the boardroom display. The executives gasped. Ryan stood up, face pale. "Ava, what the hell is this?" "This," I said slowly, "is Karma's final update." Before he could respond, the system began a live broadcast, every file uploading directly to the public transparency network, the same one that once destroyed Helios. Ryan's voice echoed across the room. "We'll own her system before she even knows it." I looked at him coldly. "You shouldn't have underestimated the woman who built the mirror." By noon, the story hit every major outlet. Lyra investor, exposed in data corruption scandal. Founder Ava Carter, leaks evidence of new AI manipulation plot. Ryan was arrested within 48 hours. The other investors resigned. And me, I stepped down as CEO. I didn't want power anymore. I wanted peace. Weeks later, I drove to the ocean, the same place I used to visit as a student, dreaming of the tech world. I sat on the sand, the wind cold against my skin, and watched the waves swallow the horizon. Everything I'd built, burned, and rebuilt again. All of it began with trust and betrayal. Jordan's message had stopped again. Maybe he was gone for good this time, or maybe he'd become another ghost in the system, watching quietly. I opened my laptop one last time and stared at the code that had once defined my life. Then I did something I never thought I would. I deleted it all. The AI, the mirror protocol, every remnant of Orion and Lyra. Some things don't belong in human hands. The wind howled softly as I whispered to myself. Karma doesn't forget, it only waits. And as the last line of code vanished from my screen, I finally felt free.